Harris was adopted when he was 6. When he was young, he lived with his parents and younger sister. He stayed with his sister when they were first taken into care, but when he was adopted that changed. He wishes he could see more of his sister now. He misses her. Harris's adoptive family are trying to help, but no one seems to be able to tell him when he will be able to see his sister regularly. He knows his sister feels the same way as him and that she tells her carers and social workers this, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. He wishes they could do the fun stuff they used to enjoy again, but there always seems to be a reason why not. Harris was recently introduced to someone called an advocate. He's not really sure what an advocate does, but she was really friendly. He hopes she will be able to get people to listen to him and understand what he wants.
Lewis is 12 and has lived in 8 different places. He has never lived anywhere longer than 2 years. He thinks he must be difficult to look after. He doesn't see his mum very often, but when he does, she tells him the changes she has made to make sure he can come home soon. Lewis likes hearing this. He would really like to see his cousins again. Lewis's mum regularly meets with the social workers. Recently there have been lots of meetings. She doesn't really know what the meetings are for, but hopes it means Lewis will be able to come home very soon. Some of the meetings are very formal and have lots of adults in them. Lewis and his mum find the meetings difficult. They try to speak up as much as they can, but they're not sure if it makes any difference to what happens. Lewis often leaves the meetings and talks to his carers about how he feels and how he'd like to be with his mum. They tell him everything will be okay. He thinks they understand what's happening better than he does, so he hopes they're alright. Lewis has lots of questions, but no one seems to be able to answer them.
Kaitlyn and her wee brother Daniel lived with their mum till she was 7. Kaitlyn wasn't safe there. It took a few years, but in primary 3, someone in school realised what was going on. Despite all the bad things that were happening at home, Kaitlyn really loved her mum. When social workers talked to her, she didn't know what to say. She knew that there were things she was meant to keep secret. She would often just be really quiet. When she was taken away from her mum's house, she and Daniel went to live with a foster family on the other side of the city. They were really kind and patient, even when Kaitlyn got angry, frustrated and upset. Kaitlyn eventually felt safe there. When she was a teenager, sometimes things were difficult. She found school hard and relationships were confusing. But her foster carers were always there for her, and she got help from a therapist. She is 19 now and is at college. She's thinking about her future and what she wants to do. She's living with her foster carers, who she now considers foster parents. She feels hopeful and excited about her future. Daniel is 17 now and barely remembers living with his mum. He's doing really well at school and is planning to go away to university to study engineering. He plans to come home to his foster carers in the holidays.
Jack was brought up in care. He's 18 now and has recently moved into a flat that other people have called temporary accommodation. He remembers the months leading up to his 18th birthday. The idea of getting his own place seems so exciting, but now it feels really hard. Jack moved a lot throughout his childhood and went to lots of different schools. He was in secure care for a while. He found education difficult, and it felt like he found school harder than most of his friends. He didn't leave with many qualifications. He's applied for a few jobs since moving, but hasn't had any interviews. He's been leaving the references section on his application form blank and wonders whether that's not helping. He's tried to ask for help, but no one seems to be able to give it. All of the jobs he would like to do seem to ask for more qualifications than he has. He knows the local college offer courses he could take, but he's already worried about paying his bills, so he needs to spend his time earning, not learning.
Olivia is 10 and lives with her mum and her older sister. Olivia's gran lives nearby with Olivia's cousins. Olivia's dad is in prison, far away, and Olivia really misses him. Olivia's mum was brought up in care. She goes to the GP a lot. Olivia's mum found it really hard when her dad went to prison, and Olivia and her sister went to live with her gran for a while. Olivia really enjoyed living with her gran. She still sees her often, but her gran isn't always able to be there for her as much as she would like. Olivia hears looked after and taken into care talked about a lot in her family. She doesn't think they sound like good things, but she isn't really sure what they mean. Her mum always seems to have appointments with lots of different people. They are meant to help her mum, but Olivia thinks they sometimes make her more upset.
When Sahara was 5, her dad became unwell and she went to live with a new family. She's now 8 and lives with a different family. Sahara likes to joke that this means she has 3 dads, but she hasn't been able to see the first 2 since she left their homes. Sahara isn't sure why this is or why she's different to her friends. She remembers the teddy that she left when she first moved and wishes she had it now. She keeps the teddy she has now with her as much as she can, in case she needs to move again. Sahara is in primary 4 and has lots of friends at school. She finds schoolwork really difficult though, and struggles to ask for help. The easiest days are Tuesdays and Thursdays when a teacher sits with her and helps her with her work. The rest of the time, Sahara is very quiet in class. Sahara feels different at home. She gets upset easily and sometimes wonders why she feels so angry. Everyone tries to help her, but no one seems to know how. Isla is 10. She moved in with her new family when she was 4. She moved back in with her parents not long after, and things were much better when she went home. Then her parents separated when she was 6. Her mum was unwell and struggled. Isla went to live with another new family. Isla liked it there, but she couldn't stay. She's since lived with another 4 new families. She thinks the hardest bit is having to change schools. She's left a lot of friends behind and no one seems to remember to keep in touch. Her favourite time of day is lunchtime. The dinner ladies always seem really nice. Isla finds it really difficult to make friends and trust people. Her current classmates know she is in care and she wishes they didn't. Isla's social worker visits every so often. Isla really likes her. She is fun and kind. Isla wishes she could see her more.
Lauren is 27 and grew up in care. She's kept in touch with a handful of people from her childhood and was closest to her foster parents. She moved into temporary accommodation when she first left their home and has only recently been given a flat of her own after years of moving around. She has struggled with alcohol and drugs, particularly when she's feeling down. Everything seemed okay when she first moved out, and she felt like she had support. However, as the years have passed, the support seems to have gone away. Lauren wants what everyone else seems to have and doesn't know why it feels so hard for her. She has turned increasingly to her foster carers. They've been a great support when they've been able, but they're not able to help Lauren as much as they would like. Lauren doesn't go out very much now and doesn't have many friends. She knows the situation is affecting her mental health, but that feels like yet another thing she has no support to manage. She is still in touch with a former college lecturer who was great a few years ago. Lauren finds that even just chatting things through over a cuppa makes her feel better.
Kale is 16 and until recently lived in a residential children's home. He has been in care since he was 6. There are things that have happened to him that he finds hard to talk about. 4 months ago, he was at the Sheriff Court. He was sent to Pullman Young Offenders Institute and has been there ever since. It wasn't Kale's first time in court, but it is the first time he's been locked up, and it isn't like he expected. Kale's mum visits when she can, but it's very far from her home. He had some foster carers from a few years ago who are really kind and they visit him regularly. Kale has made some friends in Pullman. Many of them have been there before. He hopes that doesn't happen to him. Kale has been thinking about what he will do when he gets out. He finds studying difficult. He knows it won't be long until he leaves Pullman, but it doesn't feel like anyone is able to help him. He hopes he can go to the foster carers who have been visiting him, but he isn't sure.
Dylan left Kale when he was 18 and has lived alone ever since. He enjoys having his own place, but has found it difficult to settle in. That was mostly because the flat he lives in isn't very nice, doesn't have all the things he needs, and there was nothing to cook with. He's tried to find out who can help and how he can move, but nobody has the information he needs. When he first moved in, he realised he didn't know much about what seemed like really basic things, like food shopping, paying bills, or how to look after himself. It didn't seem to be anybody's job to help him with these things. He tried to get in touch with a staff member from the residential home he lived in, but she doesn't work there anymore and he can't get a hold of her. Since leaving care, Dylan has been thinking a lot about his childhood and everything that happened. He's tried to talk to some friends about it, but they didn't really understand. He still sees his mum every now and then, but doesn't feel she's the right person to talk to.
Cameron is 17. He was taken away from his family when he was 4. He first lived with foster carers, but they could not look after him long term. So then he went to another foster carer nearby. He still gets to see his original foster carers. They feel a bit like a granny and granddad now. When he moved between foster carers, he found it hard to focus when so much was changing. He couldn't concentrate and get angry in class. His guidance teacher at high school looked out for him and spoke to all his teachers about what he needed. He made a point of getting to know Cameron's foster carers and would often pop round after school for a cup of tea. Cameron enjoys those chats. Cameron got an advocate who helped him understand his rights and was matched with a mentor who helped him think about his future. It looks like Cameron is going to do well at school. He hopes to get a job as an electrician. His friend's dad is going to try and arrange an apprenticeship in his firm.
James is 7 and lives with his mum and younger brother. Social workers often visit James's house, but James doesn't always understand why, and it always seems to be different people. James's mum doesn't always feel very well, and sometimes it's too old to take him to school. She hasn't been able to work, and there is very little money to buy food and pay bills, and they don't have any other family to help them out. James's mum doesn't have many people she feels she can turn to for help. There are some people that are meant to help them, but they just make James's mum feel more worried. James is in primary 3 and has had the same teacher since he has started school. Sometimes he is too late and does not have all the things he needs with him. James thinks his teacher understands and cares about him. James is glad he has someone to talk to.